Kevin steal my stuff? Yeah, he did. It's right there.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Oh.
Hey, quick question for you.
What do you think of our administrators?
Neither one of us look
We're just getting gifts left and right today.
My tickets and stuff.
I don't think we're.
I think we're administrative heavy.
What do we need on here?
That's carnival tickets.
Yeah, we're getting gifts left and right today. It's just like Christmas.
Oh my goodness. This goes
He didn't
down.
like what I told him. We were at
This I don't. I'm putting mine down too.
I call this meeting to order. Everyone please rise for the flag salute.
That's an echo.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence for the men and women of our armed services and those we lost to the COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you. Get an echo. Get an echo. Oh my God. It's an echo. In compliance with the Open Publics Meeting Act of the State of New Jersey, adequate notice of this meeting was provided in the following manner. On June 3rd, 2021, advance written notice of this meeting was submitted to the Daily Record for publication on June 9th, 2021. On June 8th, 2021, advance written notice of this meeting was sent to the 6 schools, the Board of Education office, the municipal building, and was posted to the school district website and to board docs. I direct this announcement to be entered into the minutes of this meeting. Roll call, Lynn.
Mrs. Cohen?
Here.
Dr. Gales?
Here.
Mr. Kemna?
Here.
Mrs. Ouimet?
Here.
Mr. Petrie?
Here.
Mr. Robinson?
Here.
Mr. Strelacci?
Here.
Mr. Zire?
Here.
And Dr. Giordano?
Here. I'd ask the board members to speak directly into your microphone so everyone can be heard with an echo. Approval of minutes, Mr. Zire.
I make a motion to move the minutes for May 24th, 2021 and June 7th, 2021. Second.
Questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, roll call, Lynn.
Mr. Zire?
Yes.
Mrs. Cohen?
Yes.
Dr. Gales?
Yes.
Mr. Kemna?
Yes.
Mrs. Ouimet?
Yes.
Mr. Petrie?
Abstain.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
Mr. Strelacci?
Yes.
And Dr. Giordano?
Yes. Communication petitions from the board? From the superintendent?
Just one. Charlie Ehrman reached out to us and connected us with an organization that's going to donate a POW MIA chair for the Marauder Stadium. And there'll be a dedication and things like that. But as I get more details, I'll let the board know.
Thank you, Dr. Zwicky. I know. Reports and discussion, student liaison report. Ladies, would you come up and...
Hi everyone, it's so great to see you all. So to start off for athletics, we have the track and field during their Group 4 championship. AJ McKay, he placed first in the triple jump at the group championships, and he will be competing in the New Jersey Meets of Champions next weekend. Anthony Thulin placed fourth, and Gabe Maya placed ninth in the 200 meter. Aurelia Shenga, she placed fifth for the high jump, and the boys 4x100 placed sixth. The team was comprised of Anthony Rocco, Anthony Thulin, Lucas Trombley, and Gabe Maya. Also, the unified track meet was hosted on the stadium at June 1st, and it was very fun to see everyone interact in such a competitive way. Over the weekend, the softball competed in the state sectionals against Livingston. It was a tough game, but we just wanted to say that we're extremely proud of all the girls, and we're so thankful that there's such a great softball program here. In awards, the Renaissance Awards were held on June 2nd. The seniors were recognized in person. The underclassmen, they had their ceremony online, and the videos for that are still up on MOTV, if you want to check that out. Over 600 students were recognized for this award, and to be eligible, you needed a 3.5 GPA. The senior awards also happened on June 9th, and it was really great to recognize all the seniors for their great achievements during such a challenging year.
For events, our first and final Pep Rally was hosted on May 28th, and it was a great event. The Tri-Am Honor Society was hosted on June 1st, and it was in person. Prom was at Skyland Stadium, and it was successful as the weather held out. Math Honor Society induction was pre-recorded and posted on the school's YouTube page on June 10th. All musical performances by the orchestra, band, and choir were all in person and posted on the school's YouTube channel. And graduation will be this Friday at 7 p.m. Before graduation practice on Thursday, the seniors are encouraged to come to a bagel breakfast, and then after, parents will host a senior celebration including foods, drinks, and shirts. And we just want to say thank you to the board for being so kind and welcoming, and can't wait to see what next year brings. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. Stay up there for a second. On behalf of the Board of Ed, we'd like to thank Jess and Varshini for their year of support as student liaisons. You've been fantastic. I would say some of the best we've had as student liaisons, so thank you very much. I have a little something for both of you on behalf of the board. Dr. Zawicki, the floor is yours. That's a little better. A little better.
Thank you, Dr. President. I was just informed it started raining outside, which I know the move to the dome was not easy, and I know it's not as cool as being outside, but that's why we moved in here. It's so great to see all of you. Usually we incrementally do awards throughout the year for our students, and we always do this at the end of the year for our staff recognition. So it's great to be here. Although we wanted to be in the stadium, I still think this is pretty cool. I just wish it was 25 degrees cooler. And I know the audio is not what we would all want it to be, but I appreciate you guys persevering, and it kind of goes with our MO of the past, that's modus operandi, not just Mount Olive, over the past 16 months. So we are going to begin with the recognition of our teachers and our educational service professionals and their support person recognition awards. And we're going to start off with none other than the principal of Mount Olive High School, Mr. Kevin Moore.
Good evening, and thank you, Dr. Zawicki. It is my privilege to present to the Board of Education tonight the Mount Olive High School Teacher of the Year for 2021, Mrs. Melissa Pollock. Come on up, Melissa. Melissa is an alumna of the Mount Olive School District and earned her bachelor's degree in education from the College of New Jersey. She was hired as a substitute teacher in 2011 and transitioned to a full-time social studies teaching position in 2013. In addition to teaching world history and AP seminar, she is a student council advisor and serves as a technology coach for her colleagues. I don't think you can overstate her impact on our students at the high school. She is a wonderful educator, mentor, and colleague. As we transitioned back from hybrid learning this year, Melissa was instrumental in coming up with ideas and plans for us to have in-person events again for our students. She's incredibly dedicated to all of her students, and I can't think of a better role model for them. It's my honor to introduce Melissa Pollock as the Mount Olive High School Teacher of the Year.
Hi everyone, Dr. Zawicki, members of the Board of Education, administrators, students, parents, families, and friends, thank you all for being here tonight. Congratulations to all of the other nominees. I feel so honored to be included among you, particularly in a year that was as interesting as this one has been. Tonight, I want to express my sincere gratitude to my family, my husband Nick, and our son Logan for always supporting me, even when that means spending long hours working with student council leaders, putting on various events. My parents, I'm lucky enough to get to work with my mom, which means I have a built-in helper for all of those events. My siblings, family, and friends for being a guiding influence. Starting Starting with kindergarten at Tints Road School, so much of my life has been shaped by the resiliency of Mount Olive schools and the incredible teachers that make up this district. In 6th grade, our teachers assured us that after just figuring out CMS Middle School, we would all learn our way together in the beautiful brand new Mount Olive Middle School as we changed buildings just after winter break. Junior year, I watched as my teachers navigated exactly how to keep students engaged in ceilingless classrooms formed in the pit as the additions were added on to the high school. It was in these classrooms, watching Mount Olive teachers, that I learned many of the skills gifted teachers need: flexibility, adaptability, patience, and empathy. This year showed that even though this district and these school grounds have changed so much since then, one thing has not changed, and that is the ability of Mount Olive teachers to be resilient and show up for their students and each other despite whatever challenges are thrown their way. A skill that, while always useful, proved necessary in 2020 and 2021. So tonight, I want to say thank you to my teachers who showed up throughout my school years and continue to show up for and inspire me as colleagues today. To name a few: Mrs. Nelson, Mrs. Craig, Mr. Ferry, Mr. Griswoz, Mr. Stansberry, and so many others. I would not be half the teacher or person I am without your influence today. Thank you.
And now it's my pleasure to present to the Board of Education our Educational Services Professional of the Year for Mount Olive High School, Ms. Jacqueline Skutka. Jackie earned her undergraduate degree from James Madison University with a BS in psychology. Jackie went on to receive her master's degree in clinical mental health counseling at Fairleigh Dickinson University. She was hired at Mount Olive High School in 2018. Prior to her work at Mount Olive, she worked in a number of mental health programs providing counseling to adolescents and adults. Jackie is a member of the NBCC and ASAP organizations and is the advisor of the Students Against Violence Everywhere Club. Over the course of the year and a half, Jackie has been a tremendous resource for our students and their families as they've navigated through the pandemic. We are truly grateful to have her as a member of the high school community. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Jackie Skutka.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. I would like to echo my colleague by saying thank you all for being here this evening. When I was announced that I had received the High School Educational Services Professional of the Year, I was shocked and in awe that I would have the opportunity to stand next to these amazing educators and professionals. I'm truly, truly honored. As honored as I am, though, I would not be here today if it was not for the wonderful staff that I work with, especially in this trying year. Teachers, counselors, secretarial staff, nurses, aides, and administrators alike are the heart of the school. Each have helped me every day to provide support for our students by being collaborative, as well as showing their understanding and enthusiasm. Being around this is truly contagious, and I feel lucky to be working with such an outstanding group of people. I hope to keep this brief, so I will end with something that has stuck with me, and I feel embodies our mission here at Mount Olive. When I was in my undergrad program at James Madison University, we were frequently asked, "How will you make your mark on Madison?" I aspire to do this each and every day and question how I will continue to at Mount Olive. Luckily, when you work alongside passionate people, you cannot help but want to make a difference and be the change. So thank you, teachers, counselors, staff, members of the board, Dr. Zawicki, our community, and my family. As mentioned before, without your support, this would not be possible. Thank you.
Next up, we have Principal of Mount Olive Middle School, Mr. James Kramer.
Good evening, everyone. It is my privilege and honor to introduce the Mount Olive Middle School Teacher of the Year for the 2021 school year, Mr. Jerry DeAlbis. He's got a little hitch in his giddy up, so we're going to give him a second to clear the front. Mr. DeAlbis' entire educational experience was in preparation for what we've experienced the last month. Mr. DeAlbis has a passion for students and seeing them succeed. Over the years, Mr. DeAlbis has coached teams, taught music, taught character ed, taught 6 pillars, taught 7 habits, taught anything we've asked him. He's run clubs, but it's his everyday drive to connect with students that help them grow and navigate life that is the difference. I have known Mr. DeAlbis for 30 years, and I've seen him connect with every single student he has ever taught. To this day, there's not a student's name he does not know or an experience he does not remember. The past 15 years as vice principal of Mount Olive High School, I've had countless engagements with students. Not once did a single student ever have a cross word to say about Mr. D. The reality of it was, many times they gave quotes they had learned from Mr. D on how they could have handled the situation better. Never was Mr. DeAlbis' impact been more evident than over the course of the pandemic. I've had more videos and emails shared with me by students on how they miss Mr. D or how they got through an experience by relying on his lessons. Students have shared how they learned to be more compassionate, get out of their cliques or comfort zones, to check on each other, and to advocate for their fellow students they may not have been connected to in a conventional school setting. Students have shared videos of how they thought Mr. D's teachings, the feelings of isolation that has charged them to seek to help others. Volunteer their time, have come to confront and overcome with the simple help of Mr. D, taking 5 minutes to get to know them, to simply listen. As we struggle to find a new normal, many of the students of Mount Olive School District will help us find our place because of their connection to Mr. DeAlbis. It is a great pleasure. I congratulate once again Mount Olive Middle School Teacher of the Year, Jerry DeAlbis.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kramer. Board, superintendent, administration, colleagues, friends, students. I came to Mount Olive in 1986. I'm one of the only ones, not too many of us left, that can say I was hired by Chester Stevens himself. And my first day was at Tints Road. I met Mr. Wenner. He asked me to do bus duty my first day. So I went out and I made sure all the kids got on the bus. He wanted to see me when I went back in. I said, "Did I do a good job?" And he said, "Yes, you did an excellent job." I said, "Do you want me to do it for the month?" He said, "No, I want to do it till the day you retire," is what he said. And I've tried to live up to that. I've been in Mount Olive 35 years. I live in the community in Clover Hill. I can't be more proud to say that I teach in Mount Olive. I love living in Mount Olive. I love having the students and my neighbors and people that like to shovel my snow and mow my lawn. No, it's just, the students are always there to help. I've enjoyed it. And I've enjoyed teaching. And I just want to finish by saying that people always ask me when I was going to retire. So the first thing I said was, when they made the bridge over River Road 2 lanes, And they did. But wait, they did. I didn't think they were ever going to do it. Then I said, well, when I get parking space number 1 for being in the Mount Olive Middle School the longest, now I have parking space number 1, okay? No, I'm not ready yet. So then I said, well, if I ever get Teacher of the Year, I'll park in that space. And now I did. So now I have to come up with another excuse. And what happens really is when the 6th graders come in, you get to meet the kids, and then they always ask you, are you going to stay till we get out of 8th grade? And I always say yes. So Wednesday night, you'll see me at graduation outside. Thank you all very, very much. Okay, you're welcome.
And now it's my distinct pleasure and honor to introduce the Mount Olive Middle School Educational Support Professional of the Year, our nurse, Miss Betty Forward. Over the years as a nurse at our school, Mrs. Ford has drawn upon her experiences and knowledge in multiple ways, wearing many hats as the school nurse. She is part nurse, part psychologist, and ultimately even part mom in every meeting she has with every student. She has demonstrated great leadership in her position. In moments of crisis, her ability to stay calm and make decisions put both staff and students at ease, no matter what the situation. She will bring any safety concerns that may arise to light and help brainstorm solutions to make sure every student is safe in our schools. She pays great attention and detail in everything she does. Her communication skills with both family and staff show compassion for the well-being and overall health. Betty Forward has been a true frontline worker and a beacon of support and strength for the school during the past year. Mrs. Forward has been the calming voice during the pandemic. The past year was not about tending to skinned knees or upset stomachs. She was our personal frontline worker and keeping our buildings and student and staff safe. Even after being named Support Person of the Year, Mrs. Ford has spent countless hours at night working through contact tracing, communication with families, and poring over student teaching charts to get it right. Once again, it's my great honor and privilege to introduce, congratulations, the Mount Olive Middle School Educational Support Person of the Year, Miss Betty Forward.
Good evening, everyone. Like Jerry, I'm the senior citizen at Mount Olive Middle School as well. I too was hired as a sub-nurse by Chester Stevens several years ago. And the way that came about was my mother was a secretary at the school, and she said that Chester wants me to come work as a sub-nurse because we need nurses. And at that time, I was in the hospital, and I said, Mom, that's not real nursing. And so I agreed to do it, and when I got there to the public schools, I quickly was introduced to, it was almost like an acute care center at the hospital. I was doing tube feedings, suctioning, catheterizations. I thought, well, this is what I'm doing in the hospital. I might as well come and be a school nurse. So I went back to school, and I haven't regretted it once. I absolutely love it. It's so rewarding. And I grew up in the Mount Olive School District, and I could not be here today without the inspiration and courage and encouragement from my administrators, past administrators and teachers that have made me who I am today. And I thank you all, my community, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Next up, representing Chester M. Stevens School, we have Instructional Supervisor Denny Marangon, who's going to come up and announce the Teacher of the Year. Come on up.
Good evening, everyone. Unfortunately, neither our Teacher of the Year or Support Person of the Year were able to join us tonight. But for CMS, our Teacher of the Year is our third grade teacher, Mrs. Kelly Gary. And our Support Person of the Year is our guidance counselor, Mrs. Melissa Roman.
Now I'd like to call up the principal of Mountain View School, Melissa Kalinsky.
Good evening. Thank you, Dr. Zawicki and the Board of Education. I would like to introduce to you Mountain View's Teacher of the Year, Mrs. Christine Rogoff. As we recognize Mrs. Rogoff this evening, I found this quote suiting. Teachers have three loves: the love of learning, the love of learners, and the love of bringing the first two loves together. Mrs. Rogoff is a graduate of the College of New Jersey, majoring in special education. From there, she earned her master's degree as a learning disabilities teaching consultant from William Patterson University. Christine has been a member of the Mountain View family from the very beginning of her career, 19 years ago. She has taught students in a resource room as well as in-class support settings. During this time, she also spent some time as an LDTC in Mount Olive. She currently teaches third grade and contributes to our school community, not only as a teacher, but as a mom of her two children who also attend Mountain View, Lindsay, a fifth grader, and Alex, a third grader. From the day I met Mrs. Rogoff, I knew that she was a go-getter. She is passionate about her work with children and will stop at nothing to ensure their success. She motivates students to be the best and advocate for themselves. Christine is a team player and works collaboratively with her colleagues to create the best learning environment for her students. Her background and extensive knowledge of differentiation makes her a true asset to her team and our school at large. Mrs. Rogoff has positive rapport with her parents and students. She really gets to know them and cares about them, both academic achievements and personal interests and goals. She uses this to motivate and educate. I always like to hear how a teacher affects our students, so I asked a few to share about Mrs. Rogoff, and this is what they said. I was very sneaky. She is very nice, and if you ask for help, she will come right over and help you. When I'm in her math group, she always gives us stickers if we do a good job. The one thing I really like is that she's calm. She doesn't get mad if you do something wrong. She makes learning easier for us because she makes it fun. She is just the best. Thank you, Mrs. Rogoff, for being such an influential member of our Mountain View community. Your professionalism and dedication to Mountain View is remarkable. Congratulations on this well-deserved award.
Thank you, Mrs. Kalensky. Good evening, members of the Board of Education, Dr. Zawicki, colleagues, parents, and friends. Thank you for this recognition. It is an honor to be here with you tonight. I began my career at Mountain View School 19 years ago as a special education teacher. I started out as Miss McCarthy, a first-year teacher eager to get my feet wet. At that time, there was no official mentoring program for special education teachers. Instead, people like Joanne Bosco, Bonnie Sully, and Sue Ryan took me under their wings, and I was able to learn from the best. I was also lucky enough to begin my career co-teaching with my good friend Lisa Barba, with whom I share this stage tonight. As time went on, my colleagues became my friends, and eventually my extended family. They helped me celebrate my wedding, the birth of my children, and with babysitting duties. They supported me through tough times as well, and offered hugs, laughs, and coffee when I needed it. I've always felt fortunate to work at Mountain View School, and this past year was no exception. As the world shut down, we stepped up, and continue to provide our students with a meaningful educational experience. Thank you to my third grade team and to all of the ladies for your collaboration, laughs, and friendship. I truly value your professionalism and support and do not know that I would have made it through this last year without you. I would also like to thank my co-teacher, Emily Callie. Coming back to school this September was a completely different experience than any other year. We needed to learn a new way of teaching, as well as check our own fears and anxieties at the door so as to ensure a safe and fun learning environment for our students. At the start of this school year, Mrs. Callie and I made an agreement to make sure we laughed each day. I'm proud to say that we achieved that goal. We've also become quite competent at reading each other's eyes behind our masks. Thank you, Emily, for your partnership and for your friendship. I would like to thank Mrs. Kolensky and Mrs. Olson for all that you have done to support us this year. Mrs. Kolensky and Mrs. Olson have made themselves available to us whenever we've needed them, including evenings and weekends. Thank you for hearing us and for being there. It has meant a lot. Thank you to the amazing Flanders PTA for your endless support and encouragement. You have been incredibly creative this year in helping to bring back feelings of normalcy for our students and staff, and we appreciate all that you do for us. Thank you to my husband, Rob, and our children, Lindsay and Alex, who also attend Mountain View School. Thank you, Rob, for your Sunday food shopping trips and for always believing in me and encouraging me. To our children, thank you for all of the years of helping me set up my classroom, staying at school late, and arriving early. I've treasured these years having you at school with me. Thank you also to my parents for your love and support and for encouraging me to pursue my dream of becoming a teacher. Finally, I would like to thank our students as well as their parents. Thank you to our students for being brave and hardworking, fun-loving, and excellent about wearing your masks. And thank you to their parents. Thank you for trusting us with your children during these uncertain times and for all of your support throughout this unprecedented year. Congratulations to all of this year's recipients. I'm honored to be here with you tonight. Thank you.
I would now like to introduce to you our Educational Services Person of the Year, Mrs. Desiree Enrico. You have to come up. By doing what you love, you awaken and inspire the hearts of others. I thought this quote was fitting as we share about the professionalism of Mrs. Enrico. Mrs. Enrico graduated from Ramapo College with a bachelor's degree in social work and a minor in psychology, then continued her education at NYU, where she earned a master's degree in social work. She began her career as a social worker in Hoboken, and then came to Mount Olive in 2012, serving as a social worker on the child study teams at the high school, Sanshore School, and now at Mountain View. Mrs. Enrico is a dedicated professional. She is dedicated to the students and families that she works with, as well as her colleagues. She spends countless hours creating the most effective plans for her students and ensures their needs are met. When making decisions for children, Mrs. Enrico is sure to listen to all parties involved and creates a team. She is truly invested in her students and stops at nothing when it pertains to the well-being of them. Anytime a volunteer is needed for a committee, Mrs. Enrico is the first to offer her services. She is organized and responsible and will offer a helping hand to anyone in need. Students feel comfortable with her, and our staff trusts her. In preparation for this evening, I asked some of her colleagues to share their thoughts on working with her, and this is what they said. She is supportive and checks in with us and her students daily. She spends time with her kids and gets to know them because she cares deeply. She always goes the extra mile for her students. Thank you, Mrs. Enrico, for your work ethic and dedication to our school community. You are a true example of what it means to put kids first. Congratulations on this well-deserved award.
Hello, I'm extremely honored to be receiving this award. I want to congratulate the other winners. When I heard my name being announced as winning this award, I was smiling for days. Working as a school social worker on the child study team can often be challenging but rewarding. I love to work with the kids and the staff at Mountain View, and I'm very dedicated to the kids and families, and I just love working at Mountain View. I love visiting the classes and seeing my students. It's something that makes my day. I've read to one of our classes, the multiply disabled class, at least once a month, and I've done activities with them. And last year they went to take a trip to McDonald's, and I joined them. So it was a great experience seeing them smile, made me smile. I'd like to thank the teams I've worked with over the years. Since I've been in the district, I've learned so much from them, and we collaborate, and that's always beneficial. I'd like to thank my husband for his support. I've done many IEPs and reports at home over the years, so I appreciate his patience and support. I'd like to thank my parents and my sisters. And I'd like to thank Mrs. Kolinsky, Mrs. Olson, and Mrs. Huffman for their support and guidance. And I'd also like to thank the Board of Education, administrators, and Dr. Zwicky for recognizing this accomplishment. Thank you.
Next, I'd like to call up Jennifer Curry, principal of Sanshore School.
Thank you, Dr. Zwicky and the Board of Education. I would like to introduce and congratulate Sanshore's Teacher of the Year, Mrs. Kathleen James. Kathleen, come on up. Kathleen graduated from St. Peter's University with a BA in Elementary Education and English and holds an additional certification as Teacher of the Handicapped. She began her teaching career in 1994 as a second grade teacher in Bayonne at Our Lady of the Assumption School. She then taught in the Bayonne Public Schools as a Title I and third grade teacher. After taking some time off to do mom duties, Kathleen joined Mount Olive in 2010, working at Sanshore as a paraprofessional, long-term substitute, first grade teacher, fifth grade teacher, and finally as a third grade teacher where she remains today. This is her 9th year as a Mount Olive educator, and we hope she never leaves. Kathleen is the lead teacher on our Sunshine Club and liaison team and brings a smile and positive energy everywhere she goes. She is a dedicated teacher. There has never been a time when I've walked past her classroom that her students were not fully engaged and having fun while doing so. Kathleen is joined today by her husband, Michael, and her 3 children, Lauren, Allison, and Michael. Congratulations, Kathleen, on this very well-deserved award.
Good evening. Thank you, Dr. Zwicky. Thank you, board members. Thank you, administration. Thank you to my personal family, all my extended family, if anybody's out there, and students, and I'm nervous. I am truly honored and grateful to have been chosen Teacher of the Year at Sanshore School. I remember during the Google Meet when Dr. Zwicky was making the announcements of who was receiving the recipient award. When I heard my name, I was in awe for a moment and then just literally ran out of my room that I was teaching in and just started screaming, I won, and like nobody came out of their room, so it was very anticlimactic. And I was just like, did you hear me? I just won Teacher of the Year. And then I think my daughter Allison came out and said, what, Mom? What did you win? So I was just so surprised. I can't believe that I had parents that wrote letters, past and present. I had a student who actually wrote a letter to nominate me although she said I should be princess of the school, not teacher of the year. So I thought that was the sweetest. And any colleagues that nominated me. I'd especially like to thank my family, my husband Michael, my 3 children, Lauren, Allison, and Michael, for putting up with me with all my questions. They're my tech experts when I don't know how to do something or can't find it on YouTube. I always go to them. They were also the best classroom helpers when setting up my classroom year after year. I know during doclog season, I am the worst person to be around at my kitchen table with everything spread out. So thank you for putting up with me during that. And I would like to thank my 3rd grade team, my former colleagues that I worked with who are become my extended family. And last but not least, the support, especially this unique and crazy year of Ms. Curry and Mrs. McFarland. Whenever we had any questions, whether I texted her or emailed her, Ms. Curry was always there with an answer and a smile, and everything's going to be okay. So thank you for that. It's been awesome. I call Jen and Christy lovingly the dynamic duo. They're the best. But thank you so much.
And I would now like to introduce and congratulate our school nurse and the district nurse, Suzanne Herbst, Sanshore's Educational Services Professional of the Year. I feel like we should have some rock music playing for you coming down. Suzanne graduated from William Patterson College with a teaching degree in 1990, returning later for nursing school, and obtained her BSN in 1994. She started working the night shift as an RN on the oncology unit at St. Clair's in Denville, quickly discovering that her true passion was community nursing. She transferred to the Community and Corporate Health Division, which ultimately led her into school nursing. Suzanne began her career in Mount Olive in 1998 as the school nurse at Mountain View. She became the head district nurse in 2009 and came to Sanshore in 2012. In 2019, while her own children were in college, she also decided to return to school for her master's degree at Cambridge College in Boston, receiving that degree in June of 2020. Suzanne worked tirelessly throughout this past school year to provide safety, support, and comfort, not only to the Sanshore community, but the greater Mount Olive community as well. There is no way I could have gotten through this school year without her. The late night phone calls, the weekend phone calls, the texts, the contact tracing, the notifications, the seating charts. Suzanne was right there by my side for the entire thing, providing me as much support as I could possibly need. Thank you so much, Suzanne. She is joined today by her husband, Mike, and her parents, Judy and Terry. Hi, Mom and Dad. Congratulations, Suzanne.
I don't have anything prepared, so it's from the heart. So thank you, Dr. Zawicki and the board, and my supervisor, Dr. Bratton over there, and Jen Curry, and Christy, who's not here today, McFarland. I'm not kidding, it was a tough year. It was a tough year for all of us, and for the nurses in particular, and I'm so excited to share tonight with Betty Forward, and I know another nurse is here, Jerry Sullivan, who received this award, I think, 2 years ago, Jer? Probably. But we just want to say thank you. We thank you so much for recognizing all the work we do and the tireless nights and days we put in, even when it's not a pandemic. Usually the last car in the parking lot, I know people see my car is still there, and they'll text me, "You're still there? What are you doing there?" I'm there all the time. My family could tell you. I'm sometimes pulling home at 6 o'clock. So we work hard, we all do, and everyone that received this award tonight, it's very well deserved. And I just want to say I was reminded of my Mountain View family from so many years ago, and I was feeling really warm inside hearing your names and knowing that you received this award too. And Mountain View was a special place, and so is Sanshore. And I just really want to say thank you. So thanks for recognizing me tonight.
Next, we have Scott Lipson, principal of Tints Road School.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome and congratulate our Tints Roads Teacher of the Year, Miss Laura Iacampo. Please come on up here. Hello. So if I had one word to describe Laura Iacampo, it would be energetic. Mrs. Iacampo has a lot of energy, and coming from someone who also has a lot of energy, Mrs. Iacampo really has a lot of energy. She's always moving, and her brain is always thinking 2 steps ahead. To be honest, Mrs. Iacampo has the kind of energy that we all hope for in a teacher. She addresses each day with a new sense of optimism, that this day will be the best day for the students. She's always thinking of creative ways to engage her students, and she's always thinking outside of the box for how to make her lessons more meaningful and memorable. If you're ever in a bad mood and need someone to cheer you up, Mrs. Iacampo is the perfect person to go to. She can speak passionately to you about Mets baseball just as much as the current unit of study in ELA. She is by far our school's #1 cheerleader. Whether spearheading our school's initiative to incorporate more diverse read-alouds across each grade level, or by assisting in creating the Reading Olympics or other character ed programs, Mrs. Iacampo is always the person who asks how she can help. Ms. Iacampo received her undergraduate degree at Centenary College and her master's degree at the College of St. Elizabeth. She has been a proud Marauder for over 20 years as a second and third grade teacher in both CMS and now at Tints. I asked some of her current students to share words that they used to describe her, and most came back with the following: she's nice, she's smart, she's helpful, she's very funny. What more could you ask for in a teacher than these amazing attributes? It gives me great pleasure to bring up here Mrs. Laura Iacampo. Congratulations.
I'm going to speak so fast your head's going to spin because I have so much to say and I'm so excited. So good evening, everyone. I'm so honored to be here tonight to accept this distinguished award. Congratulations to everyone here along with me who's being honored. You are all the embodiment of excellence, and I'm proud to share the stage with you, so to speak. To sum up 43 years of teaching in just a few minutes is going to be quite a task, but I'll try to do my best. You might be thinking there's no way this lady has been teaching for that long, yet you would be incorrect. You see, I've been teaching since I was 6 years old as a little girl who would play school in our living room in Alexandria Apartments. I would take line paper, our flat plastic red ruler, and make my own attendance sheets for my imaginary students and then give them worksheets to do. My passion for teaching continued when I fell in love with my second grade teacher, Miss Bordner, and it was then and there that I felt in my heart that I was going to be a teacher. In high school, my mind changed a bit when I felt an affinity for French and decided to be a French education major at Albright College. But that's when I learned the lesson that I've gone on to teach my over 400 classroom students and student ministry church kids. Plan B. Life is all about Plan B. and how you handle the changes with an open heart and an open mind. With my mom sick with cancer and me needing to be close to her to take care of her, I enrolled part-time at Centenary where I earned my degree in psychology with elementary education certification. So back I went to the idea of teaching second grade, and I've been blessed to do so with a few years of third grade sprinkled in, and I've never regretted it one bit. Along the way, I've worked with the most amazing colleagues, administrators, parents, and students, all with the support of our wonderful Board of Education here at Mount Olive. I want to say a special thank you to board members Mr. Bill Robinson and Mr. Daniel Amiana, who have watched me and visited me in the classroom over the years. Dr. Zawicki, thank you for leading our district into the future and for introducing me to Twitter. You also taught me the phrase secret sauce, which I'll be using for the rest of my life. To everyone here at CMS Elementary and Tints Road School, you're my second family. We've shared joys and sorrows as the world of education changed and our personal lives evolved. Each person has made a difference in my life, but I would like to thank just a few specifically. Rick Fair and Danielle Fredrickson, who took a chance on me and hired me to teach at Tints. My mentor, Kathy Deefus, who guided me from my first year there through today. Thank you to my CMS partners in education, Ann, Kathy Karros, Kelly Gary, Dawn, Terry, and birthday girl, Emily Edwards as well. To my current second grade team, Amy, Carrie, Kristen, Wendy, Stephanie, and Megan, who know me and love me no matter what, and who came together this year to help our students throughout the pandemic. I'm so thankful for the opportunity to work with you and to make our grade the best it can be. A big thank you to my friend and colleague, Sam Miller, who always has my back as well. Scott Lipson, there are no words. You've supported me and encouraged me, provided me with copious amounts of chocolate, and allowed me to be but honest with my feelings and ideas for classroom lessons and school-wide initiatives. Nicole O'Connell, I love that we share a passion for diversity and inclusion, and thank you for being my other chocolate supplier. To the parents and students I've worked with along the way, thank you for your love, trust, support, as you allowed me to do what I love to do, and to hopefully make a difference in your lives. Truly, I've worked with the people I've worked with in both schools. I could not have had the career without you. I might cry, so just hang in there, I'm almost done. To my family, Vinny, my husband, and my best friend, Basil, my son, and the best thing I've done in my life. You are my touchstones. You keep me sane and have supported me throughout report cards, lesson planning, going to school-wide events, and listening to my stories of classroom life. To my older sister, Susan, thank you for always liking my Twitter classroom posts and for teaching me nouns in Daddy's closet. In case you all didn't know, Andy Gibb is a proper noun. Finally, to my mom and dad, who are my first teachers, I know you're watching over me, and I hope I've made you proud. In closing, I send out best wishes to you all as we finish out this unprecedented school year. Go Marauders. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and thank you again.
Raise the mic for Ms. Iacampo. I now would like, well, we have to bring the mic down again in a moment. I'd now like to welcome our Educational Services Professional of the Year for Tints Road, Miss Lisa Barba. I am thrilled to be recognizing Lisa Barba as our school's Educational Services Professional. Mrs. Barba is the perfect person to be receiving this recognition, but she is the last person who would want to stand up here and accept it. Mrs. Barber received her undergraduate degree at Bloomsburg University and Montclair State University for her graduate degree. She first started out as a third grade teacher at Mountain View, and then after 6 years, she became the school counselor at Tints, which she's been for the past 15. In that time, she has helped calm the anxieties of countless students and staff. I'm sure every staff member at Tints, including myself, has asked Mrs. Barber for advice at one time or another. She has the unique ability of simplifying a problem and helping you strategize solutions that not only make sense, but allows all parties to feel a sense of comfort and resolution. As one of our character education committee leaders, Mrs. Barber promotes a culture of respect and kindness through creative school-wide activities, ongoing SEL lessons, lunch bunch groups, and small group conversations with students focused on conflict resolution and positive peer interactions. Mrs. Barba does it all, yet you'd never know it because she's the last person who'd tell you all the great things that she does. On a personal note, I don't know what I would have done without Mrs. Barba over the last 4 years. I have always valued her opinion, and I knew that any time we had to discuss a student situation, she had their best interests in mind. She also has an impressive memory and is pretty amazing in recalling sibling names, past incidences, or parent professions in no time at all. Dozens of times she has filled in the blanks for me when figuring out the context of a situation or a student's motive. You'd be surprised at how useful all that information can be. I am so happy that Mrs. Barba is receiving this award, and while I don't really know the actual number, I think she is one of the few who has received this more than once, first as an elementary teacher and now as a school counselor. And without further ado, I'd like to welcome up here Mrs. Lisa Barba.
So that's what he's talking about, having to lower the microphone again. Thank you, Mr. Lipson, for your kind words, and thank you to the Mount Olive Board of Education and Administration for honoring me for this award. It's so nice to see so many of my colleagues and friends out there. I'm also blessed to have my family, including my parents, husband Joe, and 2 children, Joey and Kylie, in attendance. I also see so many colleagues and friends, both from Mountain View and Tints years. This has been a difficult year for all of us, and I feel that each and every teacher, administrator, and staff deserves this award. The professionals in Mount Olive have given 150% during these atypical times. We've modified, adapted, and found best practices to work with our students. I truly have had the pleasure to work with the most talented, dedicated, and professional staff over the years in Mount Olive. I feel honored to have taught or counseled in some capacity with more than 50% of the award recipients. They and all of us are what makes Mount Olive School District amazing. In the role of school counselor, I have been lucky to work with always in a supportive administration with Mr. Lipson and Ms. O'Connell this year in such a difficult and atypical year. Over the years at Tints, we all have laughed together, cried together, celebrated, and mourned. We have come together for the common goal and advocated for what's best for the children. So I thank everyone out here, all of the families, students, and the Board of Education and Administration for having me up here and for giving me this award, and for all of the recipients. Thank you.
We will now have our Support Person of the Year recognition awards. And from Transportation, I'd like to call up the Transportation Supervisor, Pam Agnes, please.
Sorry about that. I sat pretty far away, I guess. I just want to thank, first of all, the board and the superintendent, Rob, for actually including transportation in this award ceremony. Usually transportation is the last to be included in things like this because, I don't know why, actually. We are a very crucial part of the district, so I am appreciative of you guys actually including everyone in our transportation department of part of this award. Second, I want to introduce Diane Laracuente as the award recipient this year for our Transportation Support Person of the Year. So I have the great privilege of working with Diane. She actually has helped me. Obviously, some of you know that this is a short transition period for me. I started in January, So I've needed a little bit of help from Diane, and I'm actually grateful that I inherited her. Diane actually has had a career in administrative assistant years before she stayed home to raise her family. So after she'd done that, she decided she wanted to get back into a clerical position, and couldn't get a job as that. So she actually sucked it up and became a bus driver. And realized that she actually really liked transportation. So she did that for 18 years. She's been in the township being a bus driver. And then she became the secretary right at the opportunity that had opened. I am grateful that I inherited Diane, honestly. She's very, very helpful for me. I've had other secretaries who don't even come close to the dedication and the commitment that Diane has. She helps me when I can't face another 12-hour day by staying later than me and then coming in early when I've asked her to do that. She's got a lot on her plate right now with all the things she has to do. I'm sure she'll share some of that with you. But my favorite thing about Diane is that she can't ever say a bad word about anybody. And if anyone comes into the office to try to say something bad about someone, she'll be like, well, maybe they were having a bad day. So no further ado, we welcome Diane, and I present this word to you.
I can't believe she just stole half my speech. Thank you all for being here tonight, and congratulations to all the other winners. Unlike Suzanne Herbst, I can't wing it up here. I have every word written down. I'd like to thank Gail Libby for her advice this afternoon when I confessed to her that I start to stutter when I get nervous. And she said, just say thank you and sit down. So I'm holding that on the back burner right now. I did start off here as a bus driver 18 years ago to get my foot in the door, never realizing how much I would absolutely love driving the bus. When the position of transportation secretary opened up, I was actually disappointed because I love driving the bus and I thought I had a few more years before the secretary who was currently there was going to leave. So I had to make a list up, the pros and cons of staying a bus driver or going into the office, which had been my ultimate goal. On the bus driving side, I loved seeing the students each morning and greeting their parents. I loved having the house to myself in the middle of the day. I loved that since I had to be at work at 6 a.m., my husband had to get the kids out of bed and off to school. I loved that a lot. Thank you, Mike. I'd also like to thank my daughter, Michelle, who had to put up with him brushing her hair every morning. On the side of working in the office, bus driving can take a real physical toll on your body. By the time I moved into the office, I couldn't even turn my head all the way from some of the stress and the bumping up and down that my body endured. That was one of the big reasons why I did move into the office. Other things were that working full-time increased my future pension, another biggie. I would get vacation days and could go to the Bahamas in the middle of the winter. That was another biggie. This year has been particularly rewarding for me. One of the things that our drivers deal with is cars running their red school bus lights while the students are boarding or unboarding or departing the bus. That's a very frightening thing. You can hear the frustration in their voices as they radio to the other bus drivers to see if they can get the license plate of that car that just passed them. If they managed to get it, they would have to spend a half day in court to get the conviction, and it very rarely happened. But now, thanks to the effort of the district's head of security, James Carifi, we were able to outfit 4 of our 72 buses with stop arm cameras on a trial basis. From the footage of these 4 vehicles alone, James was able to issue tickets to 47 drivers since the beginning of this school year. He has gone to court and won 22 convictions so far. The other 25 are still pending, although I think he may have won some more today. James is in the back. James, take a bow so that our bus drivers can appreciate you. I've been listening to them complain about this for so long. I'd also like to thank our new transportation supervisor, Pam Agnes, who is so incredibly busy but still sacrifices my time so that I can pull these videos. It's a time-consuming job to download the footage and the still shots that James needs for the convictions. But it's a good feeling to be able to tell the drivers that we were able to get the license plate and the footage. Finally, I'd like to thank our drivers who are so hyper-vigilant in safely transporting our students on a daily basis. Their jobs are not easy, which I found out. They manage to supervise up to 54 students while driving a 12-ton school bus safely around other drivers, some of them jumping out in front of them so they don't get stuck behind them, which we probably have all done at one point or another. Anyhow, I did end up in the office, and I love that job also. Our drivers transport the district's 5,000 plus students safely each day, and sometimes they have less than a minute to get the students belted in after the last student boards the bus and they have to pull out. Any delay will make them late getting to their school bus stops and to the next school. The schools do not take kindly when you get there late. They also need to learn the names of everyone on board whose faces they see mostly through a mirror while stopped at a traffic light. Our drivers and aides care a great deal for the children whose safety they are entrusted with. This is not just a paycheck to them. Many of them live in Mount Olive, and their children have gone through the school district as mine did. They take getting them to and from school safely extremely seriously, and I am proud to work with them all. Again, thank you to everyone who nominated me. Thank you.
Once again, we'd like to call up Mr. Scott Lipson, principal of Tints Road School.
Good evening, everyone. I am proud to be standing up here honoring Mrs. Mary Beth Lorber as one of Mount Olive Support People of the Year. Please come on up, Mrs. Lorber. Mrs. Lorber has been at Tints Road for 23 years and has been in Mount Olive for close to 30 years. In that time, Mrs. Lorber has worked closely with dozens of staff and hundreds of students in every grade level. She is exactly what we all look for in an instructional assistant, someone who's calm, understanding, flexible, compassionate, and happy to assist in any way possible. When I asked Mrs. Lorber's current student that she's working with how he would describe her, he said without blinking an eye, she's the best on earth. Nobody can replace her. She's very nice to me, and I've had a lot of aides who haven't been nice to me. And when I asked the classroom teachers in that room to share their opinions, they said, Mrs. Lorber is a true professional. Her heart is always in the right place, keeping the students' best interest in mind. We are all so happy that this year's recipient is from Tints Road School. Congratulations again to Mrs. Mary Beth Lorber.
Now I have to lower. Thank you, Mr. Lipson. Good evening, everyone. I would like to say thank you to the Mount Olive Board of Education, Dr. Sawicki, and especially the Tints Road staff. This is a great honor to receive such a special reward. I have worked with so many children prior to Tints. I was in the old Flaner School from 1979 to 1985. When I left in 85 to have my family. They're here today, including my husband, Craig, my daughter, Jessica, my other daughter, Jacqueline, my son-in-law, Ryan, and my 2 grandchildren, Colton, who's 2, and Emily, who's 11 months. It's been such a pleasure working with students and all the amazing teachers in the district. Thank you again, and everyone have a great evening.
Next, I'd like to call Mrs. Pasqualone, Vice Principal of Mount Olive High School, up. Oh, sorry, scratch that. Bad info, bad info. Mr. Kevin Moore, Principal of Mount Olive High School.
You'll be next, Ms. Pasqualone, don't worry. But it's my honor to be able to present to the Board of Education tonight the District Secretarial Staff Member of the Year for 2021, the high school's very own Miss Alicia Khan. Alicia was born in Trinidad and moved to Canada at age 11. She obtained her BA in psychology at York University in Toronto in 1994, the same year she married her husband, Nyron. Alicia continued her studies in human resources at Centenary College and Humber College and was certified by the Human Resources Professionals Association of Ontario. Alicia worked in HR in Toronto until becoming a stay-at-home mom in 2001 when her son Tiki was born, which, by the way, is one of the coolest names I think I've ever heard. Right? I wish my parents named me Tiki. The family then moved to New Jersey in 2002. Alicia was hired at the high school as the attendance monitor in the fall of 2013, and then became secretary to the principal in the fall of 2013. She is a proud resident of Mount Olive, making wonderful friends through Tiki's time as a student and her time as a district employee. I'm proud to present Mrs. Alicia Khan.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you to everybody who's gathered here tonight. In this very challenging year, when so many people are so deserving of recognition and appreciation, I am very grateful to have been nominated and so humbled to have been selected for this honor. To those who made this happen, I thank you very, very much. Each day, I am grateful to work where I do, among a very dedicated and hardworking staff from every level, at every capacity, from top to bottom. I have a really, really remarkable boss with whom work is just so much fun. I thank you, Sue, for your support, your patience, and your wonderful friendship. I am also especially grateful for our team of incredible administrative assistants, Christine, Gloria, Jill, Linda, and Tammy. We get through each day with laughter and with genuine love and respect. On the tougher days, the 6 of us pitch in and hold each other up and get each other through. We are truly a team, we are devoted friends, and I adore each of you, and I thank each of you for all that you do and all that you are. Being at Mount Olive High School is truly, truly a gift to all of us, and I appreciate it. Thank you to my loving husband and my sweet son. You are my biggest cheerleaders and my greatest loves. Shout out to my parents, brother and sister-in-law, cousin, father-in-law, and all our faraway family who are also so supportive, loving, and enthusiastic. With Nyron and Tarek, you are the wind beneath my wings. I love you all. Thank you to everyone for this honor. Good night. Thank you.
Next, I'd like to call up our Director of Facilities, Buildings and Grounds, Mr. Glenn Miller.
Good evening. I'd like to thank Dr. Zawicki and the Board of Education. I'd like to introduce the Mount Olive Building and Grounds Department Support Person of the Year, Cindy Shan. Cindy loves this. Cindy has worked at the middle school for 20 years. She started off working as a district kitchen staff member and worked as a custodian during the summer. Cindy quickly impressed the custodial supervisor, Joe Biazzi, and when a position opened, she was offered to come over to the Building and Grounds Department. Cindy has been an integral part of the department ever since. Cindy does everything with speed and efficiency and is always willing to help others. She definitely goes above and beyond. She epitomizes the core values and high standards of the Mount Olive Board of Education and is truly a marauder for life. It is my honor to present her with the Mount Olive Building and Grounds Department Support Person of the Year.
Thank you.
Brevity is the soul of wit. Next, I'm going to call up our IT Director, Mr. Jim Neglia.
Good evening. It is my privilege and honor to present the Technology Support Person of the Year award to Chris Knudsen. So Chris joined the Mount Olive team back in 2010. So he's been here a while and seen a lot of things and has grown tremendously. Chris actually came from the private sector. So he brought a high level of professionalism, positive attitude and energy to the team right off the bat. Chris is pretty well known in the district. He's kind of like the face of technology. He has a very unique ability and strength. He has the ability to de-escalate a situation where it's very stressful. And sometimes we do have very stressful situations here in Mount Olive with technology, between hard drives failing, servers going down, power issues. So one of the strengths that Chris has is be able to de-escalate a situation and make a teacher feel comfortable or an administrator feel confident that we are working on a solution and hopefully we'll have everything restored in a timely fashion. Chris, I want to thank you on behalf of the technology team. We have greatly benefited from a lot of your experience in the private sector. Thanks to Chris, I can honestly say he has single-handedly raised the bar on how Technology Services Department interacts with all levels of clients, teachers, administration, staff, and students. Your high level of commitment has not gone unnoticed. I continually receive positive feedback from teachers and administration, and also personal requests to come and help them with their technology needs. I want to thank you for all that you do and keep up the good work. Thank you, Chris.
Wow. Thank you, Mr. Neglia.
And thank you to the technology support team. It is an excellent technology group that I work with, and I appreciate Jim's very kind words. I'm just blown away by the whole thing. It's such a privilege to be among all these very talented people tonight, and I'm very humbled to be included in it. I'm very humbled to receive this Support Person of the Year award. This really means a lot to me, especially seeing how it comes from my peers. And I want you all to know something that comes from the bottom of my heart. It is an honor to work for the Mount Olive Township School District. It is something I never take for granted. Thank you.
We can have a big round of applause for all of our recipients. So people from all over the state and the country ask me all the time, how is it that Mount Olive, how do we do all the things that we do and we just keep going? And the secret sauce are all the people that you saw here tonight, representing the best of us and all the people who are at home. And the one good thing from the pandemic, I think, was that it highlighted for everyone all the different roles in our district and all the different people that go into making every single day special for the kids. It starts with the custodians at 4 in the morning, the bus drivers, the food service workers, the nurses who took more crazy phone calls this year than anyone in the history of phone calls and everything. Our principals, our teachers, our aides, our coaches, everyone who had a role in this. And besides the pandemic, we overcame crazy things like freak accidents that sent a surge through the line that knocked out the internet at the high school. This roof of this building being caved in and touching the turf. All of those things, we were able to come over all of them because of the secret sauce, and that's the people in this district. So thank you so much. It's truly an honor to be here tonight. And now we're going to turn it over to honoring our students. And we have some student academic recognitions. Yes, don't worry, we're only about halfway through. We got more to come. And so many strange things happened during the pandemic. Some that you want to hold on to, some you're not sure of. And one of those is Stansbury's bow ties. I like them. Other people have different opinions on them, but it was definitely a phenomenon for from the pandemic. So I'd like to call up Mr. Bowtie himself. That's what we call him now, Mr. Kevin Stansbury.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Marauder Dome. At the conclusion of tonight's Board of Education meeting, if you wouldn't mind helping us fold up the chairs, because we have an administrative team Board of Education flag football game. So we want to make sure that the field is clear. But I have the honor of introducing a series of recognitions for our students this evening. The first one being our Advanced Placement Scholar recognitions. Just to give you a brief history, in 2004, we only administered 80 AP exams. In 2019, we administered 677. In 2020, which is the recognition for this evening because we're still waiting for the 2021 results, they'll be posted in July, we administered 764 exams. And we'd like to thank the Board of Education and the superintendent for supporting the incentive program that dramatically increased those numbers. We also want to thank our gifted and inspiring advanced placement teachers for making that happen. Because sometimes students sign up for the AP exams just for the course, but in many instances, they sign up because of the instructor. So tonight, to introduce and recognize our advanced placement scholars, I would like to recognize Laura Cassidy, who helps organize our AP testing program, and our AP coordinator. Come to the podium, please. We have Principal Kevin Moore and our AP coordinator, Miss Susan Paspalone.
Good evening. For the record, I'm on the fence about the bow ties, Mr. Stansbury. I'll let you know next year. It's always a pleasure to introduce our AP scholars, but I have to say, given all of the events of last year, in the middle of the school year when our students were told you're going to be learning from home and taking the exam on a platform that we really didn't prepare you for, they still turned out in full force and did above and beyond, and we have great students who have earned our AP Scholar distinction. I'm going to start with our AP Scholars. This is granted to students who receive a score of 3 or higher on 3 or more AP exams. As I call your name, please come up to receive your certificate. Jai Amin. Casey Batch. Krista Bocher. Tara Chaco. Krista Bocher. Tara Chaco. Varshini Shintharidi. Daniel Davis. Joseph Faustino. Genevieve Fernandez. Daniel Falenta. Anelli Garcia. Logan Hallahan. Gabrielle Herman. Samantha Hosler. Alish Hussein. Kira Hutchinson Lundy. Brianna Lishy. Jackson Liu. Sylvia Anetchik. Dhruv Raguraman. Ayman Rathor. Joshua Regala. Madhir Shukla. Shayna Soifer. Akila Venkatraman. And Andrew Wallen. Take your time, Andrew. Congratulations to all of our AP Scholars. The next group is our AP Scholar with Honor, granted to students who receive an average score of at least 3.25 on all AP exams taken and scores of 3 or higher on 4 or more of these exams. Erin Burnett. Ashley Carter. Mahir Chandra. Tyler Schmiel. Jillian Farrell. Emma Galise. Zin Ki Huang. Avina Kandaria. Joseph Lemongello. Jordan Leonard. Moesha Malik. Caroline Mickus. Mark Murphy. Violet Olivetti. Caitlin Pulizzato. Emre Ramiz. Sarah Seelman. Amy Shea. And Lily Steidinger. Congratulations. Next, I'd like to announce our AP Scholar with Distinction. This is granted to students who receive an average score of at least 3.5 on all AP exams taken and scores of 3 or higher on 5 or more exams. Seyun Chun. Alyssa Dowd. Vinay Jagadish. Justin John. Veed Kautha. Gregory Lake. Aditya Menon. Sumit Mistry. Nicholas Tarallo. And Justin Vadanapradat. Our next certificate goes to our AP Scholar and AP Seminar and Research Certificate. This is granted to students who receive scores of 3 or higher on 3 or more AP exams and who receive scores of 3 or higher in AP Seminar and AP Research. This year we have Caroline Larangera. Congratulations, Caroline. Next is our AP Scholar with Honor and AP Seminar and Research Certificate, granted to students who receive an average score of at least 3.25 on all AP exams taken and scores of 3 or higher on 4 or more of these exams, and who receive scores of 3 or higher in AP Seminar and AP Research. Adelaide Pavkov and Lily Tran. And finally, the AP Scholar with Distinction and AP Capstone Diploma, granted to students who receive an average score of at least 3.5 in all AP exams taken and scores of 3 or higher on 5 or more exams, and who receive scores of 3 or higher in AP Seminar and AP Research, and on 4 additional AP exams of their choosing. Maria Ferrero and Mega Tyagarajan. Congratulations. Congratulations to all of our AP scholars.
Congratulations to all of our AP scholars. Our next recognition is the Seal of Biliteracy coming from the New Jersey Department of Education, recognizing students who are proficient in a native language or an additional language beyond English. So with great deal of pleasure, I'd like to bring to the podium Principal Kevin Moore, Ms. Pascalone, and our coordinator for our Seal of Biliteracy program, Mrs. Veronica Cruz. Thank you, Veronica.
Good evening, Dr. Siwicki, board members, administrators, colleagues, parents, families, and students. I am one of the Spanish teachers at Mount Olive High School. I am very honored to be here tonight recognizing a great accomplishment by juniors and seniors, the Seal of Biliteracy. The Seal of Biliteracy is an award given by the state of New Jersey to students that have attained proficiency in one or two or more languages other than English. The vision of the seal is to help students recognize the benefits of being bilingual or multilingual. The seal not only encourages students to continue the language learning, but in addition, it opens a window of opportunities for them in colleges and job careers. This year, 31 students, 17 seniors, and 14 juniors are being recognized for this outstanding academic success. All these 31 students have demonstrated that they speak one or two or three languages in addition to English. I would like to thank the Board of Education as well as Dr. Siwicki for making this possible for our students. Finally, and most importantly, I would like to applaud the students who decided to accept and take the rigors of this program. The students who will receive the Seal of Biliteracy had to take a rigorous test which demonstrates they are able to speak, comprehend, read, and write in another language other than English. Thank you also to the parents, guardians, and teachers to help our students succeed. I am very proud of all of you students, and I wish you all the best in your future endeavors. Thank you. As I call your name, please come up to receive your certificate. I'm going to start with the seniors. Serenity Alvarez, Spanish. Stacy Berganza, Spanish. Anna Flipovaska, Russian. Ches Forlenza, Spanish. Anneli Garcia, Spanish. Kayla Guerra, Spanish. Olivia Gorska, Polish. Suhaib Jawad, Urdu. David Ligwin, Polish. Nicole Litwin, Polish. Zuleika Obando, Spanish. Sasha Orozco, Spanish. Isabela Rojas, Spanish. Sofia Shorina, Russian. Lily Steidinger, German. Olivia Swissers, Polish. Laura Zambrano, Spanish. Juniors. Manuela Arias, Spanish. Elisa Bekdak, Spanish. Mariana Dubey, Spanish and Portuguese. My daughter Gabrielita Cruz, Spanish. Max Goebbels, German. Congrats. Farida Ibrahim, Arabic. Gabriela Forero, Spanish. Catherine Hercules, Spanish. Genesis Juarez, Spanish. Congratulations. Oscar Mendez, Spanish. Natalie Swissers, Polish. Sorry. Valerie Torres, Spanish. Sorry, I pronounced your last name. Congratulations. Gabriela Vasconcelos, Spanish. And Luisa Zambrano, Spanish. Congratulations to all of you. Thank you.
Our next recognition goes to an outstanding program that has grown year after year and really has changed the learning environment, climate, and culture of our entire Mount Olive High School. I'd like to bring to the podium to recognize our Best Buddies Chapter of the Year and also champions. These guys are superheroes. Our Director of Special Services, Ms. Sharon Stazak, if you could please come up. Principal Kevin Moore, and our advisor for our incredible Best Buddies program, Mrs. Nancy Gilbert.
In case you don't know, Best Buddies is an international nonprofit organization dedicated to improving the lives of students and people with intellectual disabilities. And this year, we have been named the Chapter of the Year in New Jersey. Nancy?
I didn't know I was going to have to talk tonight, which is not my best thing. But I would like to thank Dr. Sawicki, Mr. Moore, Ms. Stazak, Ms. Schlier, Ms. Marcus, Mr. Stansberry, Mr. Grillo, the staff and administration at Mount Olive High School, the board for all their support of Best Buddies. Best Buddies, as Ms. Stazak had just said, is an international friendship that fosters friendship between students with and without intellectual disabilities. It has been a challenging year, but our members rose to the challenge and fostered 28 friendships this year in a land of virtual learning. We met on a regular basis for club activities and leadership. We even had our virtual Thanksgiving feast, which some of you know is a huge thing that we have every year. We raised over $1,500 for Best Buddies New Jersey in our Friendship Walk and celebrated our members yesterday at our luncheon. This year we received the Best Buddies Chapter of the Year award from the president of the New Jersey Foundation. And we are extremely honored for this recognition. Thank you very much.
How about another round of applause for our Best Buddies program? And before I introduce the last set of recognitions, I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge the efforts and the coordination of this evening's certificate award presentation. How about a big round of applause for Mrs. Christine Nelson? Unusual interscholastic athletic experience this year. What do we have? 4, 5 seasons, something like that. Typically, we have 3, but we had a tremendous representation of competitiveness throughout the conference in the county and the state. At this time, I'd like to welcome to the podium to speak to the accomplishments of our student athletes, Principal Kevin Moore, and our Director of Athletics, Mr. Mark Grillo.
Thank you, Mr. Stansbury. Good evening, Dr. Giordano, Dr. Zawicki, members of the board, and fellow Marauders. I'd like to start off by congratulating all of our honorees this evening. Athletics brought a little normalcy to a rather abnormal year, and tonight we'll recognize those athletes who've earned first team all-conference, first team all-county, and those who've earned greater glory representing Mount Olive in 2020-21. We're going to start off with our fall sports, so when you hear your name, please step up to the podium. Thank you. All right. For boys soccer, Cameron Clark. Cameron was first team All NJAC Red North Division, second team All Morris County, and third team All State. Also boys soccer, Jackson Waldstein. Jackson was first team All NJAC Conference Red North Division and honorable mention All County. Next up, our field hockey program, Morgan Trotter. Morgan was first team All NJAC Red North Division, second team All Morris County, and second team All Group 4. And Molly Badwini. Molly was first team All NJAC and third team All Morris County. Next up, our girls soccer program, Taya Shooten. Taya was first team All NJAC and voted best 22 in Morris County. And Zoe Rogan. Zoe was first team All NJAC and she was a part of the All County team. Next up, we have football. Andrew Aaron. Andrew is first team All Super Football Conference Freedom Blue and honorable mention Morris Sussex Sports. Cooper Anderson. Cooper was first team All Freedom Blue Division and honorable mention of Morris Sussex Sports. Corey Campbell. Corey was first team All Freedom Blue Division, honorable mention Morris Sussex Sports. Mason Casenzo. Mason was first team Freedom Blue Division and first team All Group 4. Gavin Lockwood. Gavin Lockwood was first team All Freedom Blue Division and quarterback of the year for Morris Sussex Sports and third team All Group 4. AJ McKay. AJ McKay, first team All Freedom Blue Division, second team All State, USA Today, All New Jersey honorable mention. Charlie McVicker. Charlie was first team All Freedom Blue Division, honorable mention Morris Sussex Sports. Justin Schmidt. Justin, first team All Freedom Blue Division, third team Morris Sussex Sports. And Shane Serlick. Shane was first team All Freedom Blue Division, honorable mention Morris Sussex Sports. Moving on to our winter sports, boys basketball. Donovan Rao. First team All NJAC National Division. And swimming, Ariana Arturi. First team All NJAC Southern Division 1 and in the 50 freestyle. Congratulations, Ariana. Moving on to our Season 3 sports, gymnastics, Carly Anderson. Carly was first team North 1 League A in the balance beam and Sophia Di Domenico. Sophia was first team North 1 League A all around. Moving on to girls volleyball, Sienna Volpe. Oh, Sienna's here. First team All NJAC American Division. Congratulations, Sienna. Moving on to wrestling, which finished ranked number 14 in New Jersey. Carly Anderson. Carly finished 7-1. She was second place in the NJSIA championships. Also a region champion in the 135-pound division. Jack Basterica. Jack was first team All NJAC American Division for 106 pounds and North 1 region champion. Tyler Hagenson. Tyler's first team All-American Division. Anthony Moscatello. Anthony was first team American Division. Moving on to our spring sports. Boys lacrosse, Jordan Campbell. Jordan was first team National Division. And girls lacrosse, Aubrey Giordano. Aubrey's here. First team Freedom North Division. Honorable mention, all Morris County. Congratulations, Aubrey. Allie Mayer. Allie was first team Freedom North Division, third team all Morris County. Michaela Regan. Michaela, first team Freedom North Division, second team all Morris County. Moving on to baseball, Brian Benis. Brian was first team all National Division. Leo Dem. Leo was first team all National Division. Jordan Leonard. Jordan was first team all National Division. And Ryan Struble. Ryan was first team all National Division. Moving on to softball, Sierra Popo. Sierra's here. Sierra was first team all National Division. And Carly Smith. Carly was also first team all National Division. Our softball program were finalists in the North 1 Group 4 finals just this past weekend. Moving on to track and field, Dedrick Deshomes. Dedrick here. First team All-American Division. Nick Fratina. Nick was first team, oh, there he is. First team All-American Division. Congratulations, Nick. Gabriel Maya. Here he is. Gabe was first team All-American Division, first team All Morris County. AJ McKay. AJ was first team All-American Division, first team All Morris County. Anthony Rocco. Anthony was first team All-American Division and first team All Morris County. Anthony Thulin. Anthony was first team All-American Division and first team All Morris County. John Lucas Tremblay. John Lucas was first team All-American Division and first team All Morris County. Anicha Agogomu. Anicha was first team All-American Division. Gianna Gross. Gianna was first team All-American Division. Alicia Jones. First team All-American Division. Natasha Redmond. First team All-American Division. Sophia Redmond. First team All-American Division. Morgan Ryerson. First team All-American Division. And Aurelia Shenga. Oh, there she is. First team All-American Division. Congratulations to all our individual winners. And now moving on to our team of distinction. Okay, we had one team this year who is our division champions. And we're going to call out their names. And if you're present, please step up here. All right, that's our Mount Olive football team with a 6-1 record, our 2020 Freedom Blue Division champions. Coaching staff, head coach Brian O'Connor. Okay, our seniors, Yassine Agadomu. Is Yassine here? Andrew Aaron. Dyshawn Arrington. Casey Batch. Jacob Bowden. Corey Campbell. John Cipher. Mason Casenzo. Dan D. Bernardino. Ches Ferlenza. You can stand right here. We're going to give you something at the end. Marcus Gilliard. Agron Hodzovic. Jared Heineman. Chris Jones. Brent Joseph. John Lehman. Jordan Leonard. Gavin Lockwood. AJ McKay. Charlie McVicker. Billy Riley. Alex Rodriguez. Alex Samarco. Cristiano Santos. Justin Schmidt. And Shane Serlich. Our juniors, Cooper Anderson, Richard Bark, Dan Barra, Jake Clementi, Max Machado, Makobi Mampagna, Will Martelli, Gabe Maya, Hunter Perez, Sean Silker, and Sean Harris. Okay? And our sophomores, Darren Miller and Anthony Moscatello. Thank you, Casey, for accepting this on behalf of our football team. There you go. And finally, our athletes of distinction, our North 1 Group 4 sectional champions, and we had a few, in 3 separate events, high jump, long jump, and triple jump, AJ McKay. And our 4x100 team, John Lucas Trombley, Anthony Thulin, Anthony Rocco, and Gabriel Maya. If you'll please come up here to receive an additional award. Okay. And in shot put, Nick Fratina. In high jump, Aurelia Shanga. Aurelia Shanga. These are your North 1 Group 4 sectional champions. We also had a Group 4 champion in the triple jump, AJ McKay. And we also had another group of Group 4 champions this past weekend, our unified track and field athletes in the 200 meters, Cyril Soa. In the shot put, Dominic Chiachino. Congratulations, Cyril. Please stay up here. In the long jump, Ryan Melendez. And our 4x100 team of Bryce Abramson, Tarina Freeman, Ryan Melendez, and Cyril Soa. We'd also like to call up Brandon Chapman and Laura Chiachino. Your Group 4 Unified Track and Field champions. Congratulations to every one of our coaches, student athletes, and parents on a successful school year.
And that completes my report.
We are going to take a 5-minute recess. People are welcome to stay, but it seems like everyone's thinning out, so we are on recess for 5 minutes. Thank you for everyone for coming out. Can we start having the board members mosey on the way back up?
Sam?
Get a sewing machine fixed. You know, we have, why don't you ask fix your sewing machine? Yeah. Yeah, but, yeah. Right. You want me to get you the names of the home ec people and you could email, like, I think yeah, Gail DeSico, she would know too. Yeah. So, yeah, that's what I was thinking. The other names are.
You guys didn't start me back easy, did you? You and me both. You and me both.
That's all I ate before I came here.
It's all true.
Yeah. I ate before I came here because I knew it would be a long one.
Yeah, it is. That time of year.
I went to McDonald's.
We're waiting for Mr. Zier. He's saying about his fan club. We're back from break.
Oh, I'm first. Right?
Personnel Committee report, Ms. Cohen.
Okay, Personnel Committee met tonight before the meeting. It was Mr. Kemna, Mr. Robinson, Kimberly Marcus, and Dr. Zwicky. We had a couple of items, the ones to make note of. We had some, we talked about a succession plan, which will go to the full board soon enough. Couple of moves within the administrative team. So we talked about that. We talked about two folks who are on the agenda for hire above step 1 and why that is. So you will see those folks on here. We talked about a maternity leave at Chester Stevens and the plan to fill in for that maternity leave. We also talked about an executive assistant to the BA job description, which was in the packet as well. And last thing to make note of is, again, our accommodation quarantines are at 0, so staying nice and steady at 0. Anything I missed? Mr. Kemna, Mr. Robinson, Dr. Zwicky, Kimberly? No? Anybody? Okay.
Questions or comments from the board? Thank you, Ms. Cohen. C&T, Dr. Gales.
Thank you. CNT met June 7th in attendance was myself, Dr. Giordano, Mr. Zaire, Ms. Schlier, Mr. Moore. The committee discussed the new software renewal contracts, which will be ClassLink, which is replacing Clever, and Uncharted Learning. And in the discussion of Uncharted Learning, we talked about how this authentic entrepreneurship experience for students will kind of align with TREPS. So the conversation with Mrs. Schleer was that it will align to TREPS, as TREPS will move to the middle school and ultimately be combined with Uncharted Learning. She also discussed the new science and social studies textbooks, which were discussed amongst committees within the different schools. And the consensus came back that McGraw-Hill was the best purchase for the district. We talked about the updated curriculum supplies that will align with and augment the writer's workshop. She also discussed the summer programs, which are in full swing with ESY. There are about 200 ESY students and 200 students for the Mount Olive Success Academy. She also discussed the locations being Sanshore and Mountain View. We went on to discuss the June and August Brigance, and you'll see on the agenda the recommendations from the superintendent for teachers to administer the Brigance. And she referenced that there were approximately 216 kindergarten students who will be administered the Brigance. And what will be special about this process is any student who will be entering kindergarten coming from outside of the district will be offered the opportunity for summer school to kind of, if they don't meet the benchmark for Brigance, they'll be offered the opportunity for supplemental support during the summer. We reviewed the action items that you will see on the agenda for your review and approval. We also discussed the Real World Connections program. For the summer, we have 40 spots, and then that will roll into what we do in the fall with NJIT and Real World Connections. And I think I got everything. Oh, I did want to highlight this because you'll see on the agenda as well approval for partnership between Mount Olive and Tri-County Behavioral Care. And what stood out, they're going to offer a series of professional development workshops for our school community. And there will also be an option for family counseling and support services at nominal cost. And I think that's just tremendous for our community, that our teachers will receive some professional development and our parents will have the option and the availability of support services for them and their families. And for the folks in attendance, my colleagues, did I miss anything?
Nope, spot on, sir.
Okay, thank you. That concludes my report.
Any questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, thank you. Mr. Kemna, the finance report.
Yes, the Finance and Operations met last Monday, June 7th. In attendance, Dr. Zawicki, Ms. Cohen, Mr. Zinnemer, Ms. Libby, Ms. Ouimet, and myself. Number of items, we've got an outstanding tuition for a student that was from out of district that they were paying for. They decided to stop paying. We're going to file a small claims action in Superior Court to collect the money from that family. End of year purchases, we've got a list of items here. One of them is, a couple of them are a couple trucks for the buildings and grounds so we can keep our facilities running and operating and what have you. Sheds, a couple sheds, sports sheds, a blue curtain, actually, ironically enough, for the dome here at the, so they can see the balls coming their way. So blue curtain for the dome will be installed. Two-way radio system for the whole district-wide, and a fitness course, revamping the fitness course over here at Mount Olive High School. In addition to a scoreboard, which we'll talk a little bit about for the stadium. The stadium is what we're going to do. We have a contract with the Education Foundation that will be signed. We will fund the scoreboard and they will pay it back at an 80% rate of all the revenues that they collect off the scoreboard. They have to have some revenues for the foundation. It all can't go to the scoreboard, but we figure it's probably a 2 or 3 year payback based on the revenues that can be collected for it. On there you'll see action number 10.14, a whole plethora of C&T softwares, a lot of money there. Facility usage, have a lot of rentals for the summer with lacrosse, generated about $60,000 to $80,000. And we're also going to offer up this facility here for the Rutgers lacrosse tournament over the summer. It'll be good publicity for our school. Our coaches and our students will have access to Rutgers and people like that. So we're going to waive that fee. It's $380. We've decided we will waive that. On a health insurance situation, we're doing good. We have a reserve now, almost 2 months. We are self-insured, and we're going to increase our what we call the stop loss from $100,000 to $150,000, and also utilize Delta Dental. We're going to be self-insured. Those two items probably will save us about $300,000 next year. System 3000 renewal, it's on the agenda here. It's about $23,000. And the CMS renovations are underway. And they're working night, and as soon as the last kid gets out of school, they're going to go for it. One other thing that we're getting an estimate for is two things for the school here, the high school, is an additional shot put and a long jump pit for the track over here. We're waiting for some estimates on what that will cost. So I think I hit everything. Also Adidas on the agenda today is to sign a contract with Adidas. They will sponsor us and provide us a 40% discount on all uniforms that will save us a plethora of money. Correct, Dr. Zimmer?
True. At least 90 grand in
90,000.
The first part of this year, with then an additional rebate of merchandise of $20,000.
Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Kemna. Questions or comments from the board?
Yeah. I just wanted to
Ms.
note
Rena.
that one of those sheds at the high school was for track and field because that was brought to our attention by a parent.
Correct.
Thank you.
Dr.
Yes,
Gales.
thank you. Going back to the scoreboard, Mr. Robinson asked a question a couple board meetings ago about who would be responsible for the scoreboard. I know we're signing a contract. Have we cleared up who would be individually responsible for the scoreboard and for paying it back if there was some kind of breach of contract or something fell through?
It's valid. We discussed that. The foundation is signing a contract. That the foundation went defunct. Ultimately, the school would be on the hook for it, right? And we would collect the revenues immediately.
Yeah, I mean, we have to be careful a little bit about what we say in a public arena. We can certainly talk about this in closed because it really is a legal matter, but I think Mr. Kemna accurately summed up what it is. So it's a contract between the board and the foundation. The foundation is the only one that would be responsible if for some reason there's a breach, and the foundation is only as solvent as its funds exist.
Okay. Then my only comment is that it kind of defeats the purpose of an ed foundation if we're paying for the scoreboard and they're paying us back, because ed foundations are supposed to provide the funding for whatever projects they want to initiate. And I would recommend, I would suggest that we allow the ed foundation to raise some money, raise the $400,000 or at least 50% of it before we enter into a contract with them. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else? Mr. Robinson.
Yeah, I'd also like to inform the board, because most of you weren't here, that this is the third Ed Foundation that Mount Olive had. And beyond the first year or two, none of them ever lasted. They all died out. So
anyone else? Dr. Zwick, you want to say
I would
something?
just say that this iteration of the Ed Foundation, Ms. Cohen was the president for a time. We have members of our community who are pillars of our community who are on that Ed Foundation board. Dr. Lamonte's on there. You have, other members of the community, and we've already received, the Ed Foundation has already received donations. I firmly believe in it. I'm donating on every paycheck to it. The genesis of the scoreboard conversation came from when I went to the Chamber of Commerce
and the Chamber of Commerce asked for a way to connect and sponsor the district and also connect directly and advertise. And one of the suggestions was other districts had done this. I believe firmly that the plan that's been laid out, and the Ed Foundation is actually going to come on the 28th, the board, to present to you on this. The plan, and I asked Ms. Cohen to jump in here, the plan is really solid, and I think there's a real appetite for the advertising so that it would be paid off. And then the idea that then becomes an asset for the Ed Foundation to then raise further funds and support its mission, which is to fund scholarships and professional development. So it's, the way I look at it is, you have very committed individuals. I know there's been multiple iterations of it, but almost 2 years of work has gone into this. The people who are on the board are here. They're not going anywhere. They're pillars of the community. And I think this time you have the support of organizations like the Chamber of Commerce and the local businesses. So I think it's a different business plan, if you will, this time. And I think you'll hear from the Ed Foundation, the idea is to have a partnership with the district to get this going. And then once that scoreboard is there, it will then cement the Ed Foundation in existence because there's that asset to help it raise funds.
Thank you, Dr. Z. Anyone else? Policy and Governance Committee, Mr. Strelacci.
Yes, thank you. The Policy Committee met this evening. Ms. Jones, Mr. Petrie, Dr. Giordano, myself. We had two discussion items. One's the resolution regarding optional masking. The other one's to go over from Strauss Esme our policy alerts. On the next meeting, the resolution will be on there, and the first reading for the mandated policies will be on there. Basically, on the masking, Mount Olive has been a leader all the way through. Thanks to its administration and staff, we were first to have virtual. We were first to bring people back, and now we're going to be bringing people back with the option of having a mask or not. We are petitioning. We're formally requesting that the governor address the gaps between EO 175 and EO 241, and we are definitely going to be we're sending him our resolution that we are definitely, come September, bringing children back to a school with the option of wearing a mask or not. So I think that's a good step in the right direction. Anybody else, John? Or
No, covered everything. Any questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, super. Board President's Report. I haven't forgotten about the board retreat. I know I have to send an email out. It looks like, and I'll get verification from everybody, but from just straw polling the board members and just casual conversations, like the last week of July or the last 2 weeks of July would not work. So I will send that email out tomorrow just to, and I'll CC you on it, Ms. Jones, just so we can get that date and we call school boards and have them do our board retreat for us. That's all I have. Public comments on action items. Members of the community may comment on any action item prior to board discussion. Please state your name and address for the record. All comments must be respectfully presented. Abusive or obscene comments will not be tolerated. Come up, stand up, state your name and address for the record, and ask any question on action items 7.1 down to 11.1. Ms. Jones, we had no one email questions in?
No.
Thank you. Closing the public comment. Ms. Cohen, would you move personnel action items?
Want to do 7 monthly?
Oh, I'm sorry. Geez, I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm sorry. Ms. Weemat, would you do the monthly expenditures?
Yes, approval of the monthly expenditures and reports 7.1 through 7.4.
Second.
Questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, roll call, Lynn.
Mrs. Ouimet?
Yes.
Mr. Petrie?
Yes to everything, anything to do with Verizon, abstain.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
Mr. Strelacci?
yes,
Mrs. Cohen?
Yes.
Dr. Gales?
Yes.
Mr. Kemna?
Yes.
Mr. Zire?
Yes.
And Dr. Giordano?
Yes. Now, Ms. Cohen, would you please move the personnel action items?
Sure. Make a motion to approve personnel action items 8.1 through 8.26.
Second.
Nice. Questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, roll call, Lynn.
Mrs. Cohen?
Yes.
Dr. Gales?
Abstain on 8:11 and 8:12. Yes to everything else.
Mr. Kemna?
Yes.
Mrs. Ouimet?
Yes.
Mr. Petrie?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
Mr. Strelacci?
Abstain 11 and 12, yes and everything else?
Mr. Zire?
Yes.
Dr. Giordano?
Yes, and Mr. Zires will want to change his vote, I believe. Abstain on 8.24, yes to everything else? I think you have a family member on that, Mr. Zire? No, never mind, he's not on there, he has to be added. Okay, never mind.
Talking about 8-2?
No, 8.24 I was thinking, I thought I saw something, it's okay. It's my mistake.
Summer employment, do you know anybody?
I'd have to
Thank you. Dr. Gales, the C&T action items, please?
Sure. I make a motion upon the recommendation of the superintendent to move curriculum and technology action items 9.1 to 9.17.
Second.
Questions or comments from the board?
I'm sorry, who seconded that?
Mr. Robinson. Oh, seeing none, roll call, Lynn?
Dr. Gales?
Yes.
Mrs. Cohen?
Yes.
Mr. Kemna?
Yes.
Mrs. Ouimet?
Yes.
Mr. Petrie?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
Mr. Strelacci?
Yes.
Mr. Zire?
Yes.
Dr. Giordano?
Yes. Finance and operations, Mr. Kemna.
Yes, on the recommendation of the superintendent, move finance and operation action items 10.1 all the way 10.17.
Second.
Questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, roll call, Lynn?
Mr. Kemna?
Yes.
Mrs. Ouimet?
Yes.
Mr. Petrie?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
Mr. Strelacci?
Yes.
Mr. Zire?
Yes.
Mrs. Cohen?
Yes.
Dr. Gales?
Yes.
Dr. Giordano?
Yes. Mr. Strelacci, would you move the administrative action items?
Yes. I'd like to move administrative action item 11.1.
Second.
Questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, roll call, Lynn?
Mr. Strelacci?
Yes.
Mr. Zire?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cohen?
Yes.
Dr. Gales?
Yes.
Mr. Kemna?
Yes.
Mrs. Ouimet?
Yes.
Mr. Petrie?
Yes.
Dr. Giordano?
Yes. Old business from the board. New business? On public comments, students, parents, employees, and community members may comment on any item of interest pertaining to the Mount Olive School District. Please state your name and address for the record. All comments must be respectfully presented. Abusive or obscene comments will not be tolerated. Please stand up, state your name and address for the record, and ask anything of the ongoings in our district. Ms. Jones, we did not have any email questions?
No, we did not.
Closing the public comment. Board comments. Mr. Petrie.
It's nice to be back, and it was nice to hear that the buses have the cameras, at least a few of them on it, and it's paying dividends. Super. That's all I got.
Mr. Zire.
It was just very nice to partake in the honoring of our students and staff. Congratulations to all of them, and that's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Robinson.
Congratulations to all the honorees tonight. That's it. Thank you.
Ms. Ouimet.
I always say it's the second best after graduation, honoring our staff.
Thank you. Dr. Gales.
Thank you. Did we miss PTA and PTO reports?
You know what we did? Yeah, it's not on there. We'll have to hit them up. We'll have to get them at the 28th meeting.
Okay. All right.
I'm sorry. I didn't even see that.
Okay. So I'll take up for Mrs. Ouimet's and Mr. Robinson's time, but I'll be quick. I promise. So as you know, this time of the year there are a lot of things going on, and there's some wonderful events, and I just want to recognize a few of them. The CMS moving up ceremony was just absolutely phenomenal. And Mr. Kramer came out and made a cameo appearance and addressed the fifth graders, which was just fantastic. I left here during the presentation to go see the fifth grade band concert. My daughter was performing, but the kids over there did a great job. Mr. Odessa and the team did wonderful. I want to congratulate the JROTC on today's flag raising, which was very fantastic. Happy Father's Day in advance to all the fathers out there. A reminder that this is a Pride Month, and the township will be raising the Pride flag tomorrow at 3:30 at the entrance of Turkey Brook Park. And I want to thank and congratulate all of our awards recipients, because the students, the faculty, support staff, as Dr. Zawicki said, you are what makes our school community a special place. And I also want to thank the Mount Olive school community, because it's because of your steadfast support, your faith, and your trust in us that provides the foundation for us to forge ahead and become the successful school district that we are. So thank you to all, and have a great week. I'll see everybody at graduation on Friday. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. G. Mr. Schlacci.
Yes, two things. Number one, I'd like to thank Glenn and his staff. I toured almost all our grounds over the weekend, and I want to tell you, they're in excellent condition. I want you to come and do my lawn next, if you would, okay? I was very happy tonight because, at the risk of sounding immodest, in 2013, I said to the board, you know, we give teacher awards out every year, but we do nothing for the support staff. And I said it's about time we also acknowledge them. And the following year, the board did. And I thank the board for that. And now I was very happy to see all the awards we give out for support staff, because they're immensely needed in this district, and they do an excellent job, and they should be acknowledged. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Kemna?
Yes, first of all, congratulations to all the recipients. I know they ran out of here as fast as they got their awards. They want to get them home over the mantle, probably. So, also the Junior ROTC, very proud. I remember when we started that program 5 or 6 years ago. It's great that we've done it to a tremendous success, and good luck to all the graduates.
Thank you. Ms. Cohen?
Congratulations to all, and looking forward to graduation.
And I have no comments. Motion to adjourn?
I'm sorry, can I just make one comment? I'm
Yes,
so
sir. No,
sorry.
go ahead, Dr. Go.
And thank you to Mrs. We Met, who reminded me that we also have the middle school graduation on the 16th.
That's right.
So
Good
I
call.
apologize
Good
to the
call.
middle school folks. Charge it to my head, not my heart, please. Thank you.
Now, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thanks a lot, guys.